Straight ahead on CCX News, coffee competition. The area in Maple Grove that is getting a new coffee shop and how one locally owned business plans to respond. Plus, details on the latest elementary school expansion in the Wayzata district. And we'll meet an Armstrong High School student who sheds light on an invisible illness.
It has made me stronger. It's made me overcome a lot.
CCX News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. We begin with an organization that has served local businesses for the past 40 years, calling it quits. The North Hennepin Area Chamber of Commerce announced this week that it is going to cease operations, due in large part to a cash flow issue. Officials from the chamber say it was a difficult decision.
We thought long and hard about what options were out there, realized there really weren't any good ones, and the most responsible approach was to, with great regret, close the doors.
The Chamber provides resources to businesses located in Osseo, Maple Grove, Brooklyn Center, and Brooklyn Park. Snoxel says that Hennepin County had cut off funding to the organization, and on top of that, the Chamber hadn't put on any large revenue-generating events in quite some time. Meanwhile, the PRIMROSE School of Champlin Park has been associated with the North Hennepin Chamber since 2007. Owner Joe PIKET says the Chamber helped him connect to the rest of the business community, so hearing the news this week was tough.
It was a good 10-year run for me and my business, and sad to see it go away. I think the community is going to start to see some things disappear that they kind of got used to, especially around our business education partnership. A lot of events that the Chamber was well known for, State of the Cities, Star Student, things like that that won't be around anymore. I think people will realize that they really enjoyed those and they're going to miss them.
Wednesday's Star Student Awards Banquet will be the final event for the North Hennepin Chamber. As for what happens next, other local chambers reached out to North Hennepin Chamber members to help fill the void. Those include the I-94 West Chamber of Commerce based in Rogers and the Twin West Chamber based in Plymouth. Well, it's budget week for many local cities as they get closer to final approval. In New Hope, some residents looked at their statements and expressed sticker shock. The 2019 tax levy will go up nearly 19% in New Hope. Most of that increase pays for a new city hall and police station that taxpayers will pay off over a 15-year period. For a $225,000 home, which is near the median value, homeowners can expect a $174 increase. Homeowners should also expect a tax increase next year as paying for a new city pool comes into play. In Maple Grove, the city has approved a new retail building. It's a vote that will impact the local coffee shop scene. A Caribou coffee would go up on the corner of Hospital Drive and Maple Grove Parkway near Maple Grove Hospital. Daily Dose, an independent coffee shop, is a short walk away, and a Starbucks is located inside the nearby Target. Daily Dose owner Ben Haven says another major chain will make it more difficult, but he does not plan to move.
We're going to ride it out. We're going to fight it. I like my 0.9 mile commute to work every day. I live in the neighborhood, and so I want to. We think that Maple Grove deserves a locally owned independent coffee shop, and we're the last one. We're it.
Maple Grove City Council member Phil Leith says the city received upwards of 50 emails expressing opposition to a coffee chain moving in near Daily Dose. Leith says the city can't control what developers bring forward. Leith says the Caribou project meets zoning requirements and was able to address drive-through traffic concerns. It's also an area that's expected to get busier. A Hy-Vee grocery is still planned for a site nearby. Some changes are coming to Oakwood Elementary School in Plymouth. The Wayzata School Board approved an addition onto the school. The new space will accommodate staff and programs that are in leased spaces right now, as well as the district's early learning programs. District officials say taxes won't go up to pay for the addition. Rather, as leases expire, the payments will be rolled into paying for the new addition. The state still needs to approve the expansion. They expect that in the next couple of weeks. The district expects the addition to be ready by fall of 2020. Area business leaders gathered in Brooklyn Park Tuesday to talk about how to work with young workers. Businesses discussed strategies for attracting and keeping workers. One of the organizations there was BrookLynk, the Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center group that advocates for youth employment issues.
We hope that the business community just really does feel, I think, listened to and supported when it comes to their workforce needs. Because honestly, right now, it's, I guess you could say, a job seekers market where retention is a really big issue for employers.
BrookLynk says it's trained more than 400 youths with skills to make them ready for the job market. Well, it is Crohn's and Colitis Awareness Week. The digestive diseases are chronic and anyone can get them. This week, we continue our series on Crohn's and colitis, also known as invisible illnesses. The inflammatory bowel diseases are most commonly diagnosed in children and young adults. Today, reporter Sonia Goins shows us how an Armstrong student is not only surviving, but thriving while living with Crohn's.
So go ahead and finish the 8 count in this formation. Does that make sense?
Aaliyah Rocha lives to dance.
Get up there! Up!
I love it. It's super fun.
Nice job.
The captain of the Armstrong dance team is light on her feet.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
To look at her, you would never guess that she's fighting a chronic inflammatory condition called Crohn's disease. She was diagnosed when she was in the 5th grade.
Because at first I was like, wow, like, am I going to die? I didn't know what it was. I was quite terrified.
3, 4,
The invisible illness sometimes knocks her off her feet.
4, and 5, 6, 7, 8.
Like, I get very tired. I don't really want to do anything. And it impacts me, like, at dance and at school a lot because I'm just not motivated.
When she's having a flare-up, painful stomach cramps and vomiting sideline her.
I'd go home from school 2 to 3 times a week. I lost so much weight.
And when she does make it to class, Armstrong officials accommodate her illness.
How are things going?
They're going awesome. I'd go into the nurse. She kind of knows my condition, so she'll always let me use her bathroom so I don't have to be with other people.
Aaliyah not only fights
3,
physical
4,
symptoms,
5, 6, 7, keep going. 1, 2.
but the 12th grader deals with the mental agony of battling a chronic condition.
At first I was really kind of like, why me?
She's also encountered stigmas that are often associated with inflammatory bowel diseases, like people thinking it's contagious.
A lot of my friends are like, oh, like what? And I'm like, no, it's not like that. It's not contagious. You're not going to get it.
Some people made fun of her when she was on steroid medication.
My cheeks got super chubby. And all my like peers and like some of my friends are like, oh, like your cheeks are so chubby. And that really gnawed away. That, like, it made me feel bad.
What we're looking at here is a picture from a healthy colon.
Dr. Jake Madlock says treating mental symptoms of IBD is just as crucial as controlling physical symptoms, especially when dealing with young patients.
They've come into this as a healthy young person with no medical history, and this is their first diagnosis of a chronic disease, and that mental shift to a part of one's identity becomes, I'm a patient now.
Aaliyah is not alone in her struggle. According to the Crohn's Colitis Foundation, about 25,000 Minnesotans have inflammatory bowel disease. Many of those patients are under the age of 18.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Meanwhile, Aaliyah is determined to live a productive life
3, 4.
despite having Crohn's disease.
I'm still doing everything that anyone else can do, and it's not really holding me back.
She's a member of the National Honor Society, as well as the Spanish Honor Society. And this summer, she was crowned Miss Robbinsdale.
2018-2019 Miss Robbinsdale, Aaliyah Rocha.
Aaliyah says she's more confident, and Crohn's has given her strength in other areas of her life.
I wouldn't be who I am today without it. Like, it has made me stronger. It's made me overcome a lot.
In Plymouth, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
Aaliyah says her positive attitude helps her cope with Crohn's. She also wants people to know that this is more than a so-called bathroom disease. Crohn's can affect your eyes, skin, and other areas on the body. Still ahead, a Brooklyn Center school that's getting curriculum help from the University of Notre Dame. Plus, a new head coach leads the Osseo girls basketball team into the season. We'll have the Orioles story later in sports. But first, getting colder. Thursday, we barely reached 20 degrees. Welcome back. Today's school spotlight focuses on a smaller neighborhood school that is truly a hidden gem. Neil Persley has an inside look at St. Alphonsus Catholic School in Brooklyn Center.
St. Alphonsus Catholic School is a small pre-K through 8 elementary school with just under 200 students in Brooklyn Center. And this year they're excited to be partnering with the University of Notre Dame in the implementation of a unique blended learning program.
It's a new way of presenting material, but it's helping reach a lot of learning levels.
Father Nate Wills is a professor at the University of Notre Dame, where he developed the blended learning model. He and his colleague, Elizabeth Anthony, are helping bring the instruction method to 5 schools in the metro area, of which St. Alphonsus is one.
Blended learning is this opportunity for students to work on computer programs that assess where a student is, and it figures out what their reading and math level is, gives them kind of a diagnostic there, and then creates a personalized learning path so that the students can work at their just right reading or math level.
The programs the children learn and work on provide much data back to the teachers, who can then focus in on the area the kids need more help with, as well as continue to point students forward in areas in which they excel, allowing them to potentially continue learning above their grade level.
Extremely exciting. So we have technology with actual teacher-led instruction, and what we are doing is we're essentially blending them. And so what that allows me to do is create an individualized learning plan for each of my students.
So a typical lesson in Miss Hillman's 5th grade class will begin with a short group lesson on the subject. Then the students will break out in smaller groups around the room, studying with Chromebooks, periodically rotating for a more intensive one-on-one session with the teacher.
All the students are using adaptive online learning programs, and those programs essentially they determine what students know and what they don't know, and then they deliver material that's appropriate for them. So every student is working on something that's individualized to their level online. But then teachers get data from those programs that help them also make sure that the offline work the students are doing is differentiated as well.
It's a system that makes the most of technology and individual teacher time with every single student. This year, blended learning is being rolled out in 2nd and 5th grade and middle school math.
The 3 teachers that are currently getting a lot of intensive help from the University of Notre Dame with Elizabeth and Father Nate will be the teachers of the teachers next year.
When they'll roll out the program, K through 8, school-wide. From St. Alphonsus Catholic School, Neil Persley, CCX News.
That packet, the book.
Up next, Christmas enjoyed in simpler times. But first, coming off a 2-win season, Osceo's girls basketball team looks for bigger and better things this winter. John Jacobson is in with that story next in sports.
A new season means a fresh start for high school athletes. As Jay Wilcox reports, there's a new and better feeling in the Osseo girls basketball program this winter.
There's only one way to go for the Osseo girls basketball team: up. An Orioles program that's had a lot of success over the years sunk to 2 wins in a tumultuous 2017-2018 season.
Yes, I'm very confident. There's like a whole different environment, atmosphere. It's really great.
It's been a struggle the last couple years, and so this program historically, and better than anyone that there's history here, and so we're trying to kind of reclaim a little bit of that, and I think it's been really, really good. I think the kids have worked really hard over the summer, and we've had a good first 2 weeks.
New head coach Doug Erleen, a former Maple Grove assistant and youth coach, takes over the Orioles program this winter. He and his staff are stressing positive vibes.
His energy, he gives good energy, he amps the team up, always keeping our attitude positive and stuff like that.
Just getting them to kind of believe and just to work hard and have fun again playing basketball has been kind of our focus the first 6 months of the season. So.
The Orioles do have 6 varsity returners this season, with Jay Quate among the more accomplished players. The Orioles have lost their first 2 games, but by a total of 8 points, both on the road. The players can see the improvement individually and as a group.
Yeah, a lot of progress. Since last year, the way we play together, it's we connect, the way we rotate the ball, it's way better than last year.
I feel like our defense has really picked it up a lot, but yeah, we're working on just pushing the ball, just playing good basketball, spreading the floor.
Overall, I think defensively, that was really my #1 question, the thing that kept me up at night. was, can we get stops when we need them? I didn't know how much they were going to buy in defensively. And through the first couple weeks, that's been the thing that's been, now it's free throws. So if you're scouting us and watching this on TV, send us to the line.
The road back to being a winning program will take some hard work, but Osseo appears to be on the right track. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
The Orioles start a stretch of 3 straight home games when they host Shakopee Tuesday night. They host Big Lake on Friday. The Wayzata girls hockey team is off to a 6-1 start this season. Emily Wisniewski and Alexa Osseo are captains and senior leaders for the Trojans. Jason Melillo profiles them this week on CCX Sports Jam show, and here's a clip from that story.
Wayzata girls hockey coach Jess Scott describes Alexa Osseo and Emily Wisniewski as the heart and soul of the team.
I mean, these two kids are the most selfless people I've ever met. I mean, they just work hard. They don't expect anything. They don't care who gets the credit. And they're obviously highly talented, Division I hockey players.
Osseo and Wisniewski are both senior captains. Osseo is a tough forward that's equally dangerous as a scorer or a playmaker. She's also worked hard to better understand the game.
I think most of all it's my mental game. I've obviously gotten bigger, stronger over the years, but I think it has a lot to do with my confidence and vision that I have on the ice, trusting my skills and trusting my teammates too, and getting in a more comfortable spot with knowing that I have good girls beside me and then good skills in my own hands.
Wisniewski describes herself as a defensive defenseman, though she does have the speed and skill to rush the puck.
Sometimes I rush up the puck and stuff, but I mostly like to make those quick plays, like to break out of the zone and stuff. I wouldn't call myself like a scorer or even really like a point getter in general, but I really like to make things happen and be a dominant player on the ice.
Last season, the Trojans were in need of a defensive forward, and Wisniewski was called upon to fill that role.
You can see the rest of that story and more this week on Sports Jam. It's on through Wednesday at 3:30, 6:30, and 9:30 p.m. on CCX1 and online at ccxmedia.org. That's all for sports. Highlights from a busy night of prep basketball in the area Wednesday starting at 4 here on CCX News. Delane, back to you.
All right, thank you, John. Up next, an opportunity to meet Santa Claus, where his sleigh is taking him next when we come back. Finally, Christmas enjoyed in simpler times, and you can take part in the fun. This Saturday, Plymouth hosts an old-fashioned Christmas. The annual event takes place from 2 to 5 at the Plymouth Creek Park. Guests can roast s'mores, enjoy hay rides, and visit Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus. The event is free, and attendees are encouraged to bring new unwrapped toys for the Prism Toy Drive. Well, that is all the news for now. Thank you for joining us. We will see you back here again tomorrow, starting at 4.